Thank you, Mr. Chowdhury. Okay, don't worry. Our next speaker is Mr. Jignesh Shah, who not arguably, but is in fact one of the most successful businessmen in India today, having built up from scratch a formidable organization, which one of the companies has been listed for 9 years, I was reminded, and another one is in the course of being listed. And these are not companies that are in just buying and selling of stuff, but these relate to regulated stock exchange type activities and other financial services. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure now to ask Jignesh to talk to us. Jignesh Shah, please.
Thank you, Mr. Sat Pal Khattar. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you, organizers, to invite me on this diaspora. And the topic for discussion given to me is Diaspora and Asian Businesses. Diaspora often basically means that people from the homogeneous character, same ethnic origin, migrated, settled from away from the motherland, and in those lands they built businesses, jobs and other activity, and also help the motherland subsequently at the right opportune time. Jewish diaspora is the biggest example in this regime to talk, that before they were exiled from Israel, and they were spread all across the world, prospered, built businesses, and as and when after 1947, when Israel became independent, I think they are contributing towards the growth of Israel by terms of investment and intellectual capital. The US also has been beneficiary of this various diasporas, right from China, India, Japan, and many more. Regarding Asians, I think from thousands of years to up to 17th century, the major global trade were dominated by Indian and Chinese, to the extent that almost 2/3 of the trade were controlled by them. Silk and spice route stories are well known to us. Post 17th century, I think Dutch, English, Portuguese, and the British companies, and to give an example, the East India Company actually taken over and spread it across the world, and that's an example which can equally be highlighted, that East India Company on the whole, the prosperity when back home at Britain were coming from the various diasporas, British were spread across the world. Now on this, around the same time, I think many of the talented Asians have migrated on the various part of the world because of the lack of the opportunity then. And I think the time clock has been very different now. Asia is on rise. The engineering, the financial and the medical knowledge base and the enterprise and industry which have been built by these entrepreneurs across the world can really come to Asia when this time is changing. To cite some of the examples, I think 16 Japanese companies, 14 Korean, 61 Chinese and 8 Indians are find its way in Fortune 500 list very recently. China has captured 12% of the world export, surpassing US. Growth has been high. Asia is showing high resilience. Poverty reduction has been very, very high. In around 1990, 50% of the people were below poverty line, and today in the next 5 years, as per the World Bank report, 22.5% will be below poverty line. So that has also been on the rise in the terms of the prosperity is on the rise. We all know in terms of the commodities asset class as well as the financial asset class, I think a large number of the success stories which are emerging from India, China and whole of the Asian region has been really offering a huge investment opportunity to the region and to the Asian diaspora which is across the world, which can really contribute towards the motherland or the region. I think on terms of the other ratios, without taking in detail, but very clearly the inter-trade between the South Asian countries, I think the export and the import ratios also have changed very significantly. India, China are often described as a nest powerhouse, and the financial ratios in terms of the capital inflow, the investment and the saving and the organized credit from banking circle is also showing very healthy signatures. Now, talking from our industry point of view, I think all this can lead to a huge opportunity, and again to the Asian diaspora spread across the world to build, and this requires the world-class financial institution, which I always advocate. The proof of it is in the first 6 exchange on the commodity business, regulated commodity exchange business. If you take the first 6, 4 are from India and China, 3 are Chinese, 1 is Indian, which I represent. One of them is MCX. That has happened in just last 10 years. So that's the potential. But what exactly is, you can say, from here is that all these 3 Chinese and 1 Indian, they are not open to international access. They are running in a closed economy. The international capital straight cannot access those potential, but they are leading the global parameters. So I think it requires to be open up. The intertrade between the countries, what my earlier speaker was mentioning, referring someone in the morning, I think that should be encouraged very well. The trade barriers between the Asian countries and South Asia, I think it should be lowered to the extent possible. Free capital flow should be encouraged, and the price discovery for the commodities, which are becoming a very important asset class. Asia should emerge as a price setter rather than a price taker. This can give rise to a very healthy growth for the investment, and the number of SMEs and the innovations which are happening in this region. I don't think on the capital market side we have a world-class institute, despite having 2 great international finance centers, that is Singapore and Hong Kong. But I don't think the P multiple or the valuation what we get here in the whole Asian, any of the Asian exchange is not that great. The very new startup companies in US and UK or the European side gets fantastic valuation versus a well-established, highly profitable, highly cash-generating companies, but not attracting that kind of a sound valuation. The whole thing is linked to a world-class emergence of a world-class capital market from this region only can deliver that. And I strongly believe that when the real economy is on this rise, the financial infrastructure, if we really create from this part of the world, which truly reflect the future discounting, I think we really can build what we all are looking forward for, and high growth, high return, and a very prosperous Asia. And that's the best path for the Asian business from Asian diaspora across the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jignesh.